All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have 4 board members online, which gives us a quorum. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. Don't you know, I like forget to count yourself?
No, it's me, I'm sorry.
Like, it better not be me, Patty.
No, it's my watch thing. Oh, I never know how to turn it on.
All right. Consent agenda, please. I need a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All right, pick.
Don't matter. Stick Peter.
Oh, any
Peter
questions?
Peter one. Alphabetical order.
Any questions, or everybody's okay with everything that's on there?
Yep.
Right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the consent agenda passes. Public comment. Anybody online? No? Okay. Between each thing, I'm going to sign one of these because there's a mountain. Okay. Revote conversation. Oh, that was me. I probably should have called it "Yay, it passed" conversation. I don't know why I put revote in there, but so I just wanted to thank everybody for everything that they did, or conversations they had, or anything. I'm already thinking and talking about the next cycle that's coming along here pretty quickly, and watching what's happening in Montpelier, and really making sure that we try really hard to educate our constituents about the big picture and us and the difference between the two. It's really important. I'm watching some of the other conversations around the state right now, and ones that are just about to vote. I think they vote tomorrow. There's some ones voting tomorrow. And they're talking about similar things that our constituents talk about, and they're sharing the similar concerns that our constituents share about. And so I think we're just going to be, again, in that same conversation pattern. But I really implore board members to stay on top of what's happening at the state level, read your VSBA stuff, ask questions. Cheryl and Brooke, what's going on? What can I say? I don't understand anything. So that when we talk to constituents, we can really share what's going on at the state level and know what we're talking about, and also know our Slate Valley situation. I think it's going to be really important. I think there's going to be some really strange stuff happening in the next 3 years, and just staying on top of it's going to be really important. So anybody else have any comments about the past budget that they want to bring up? All right, awesome. Oh, go ahead.
I will say that that document that you guys did, like for social media, was really helpful. I forwarded it to our town clerk. She posted it. I just think it was a really nice, concise way to get the information out.
Good, awesome, good to know. Good to know. All right, awesome. Anything else? Anybody online? You guys all good? All right. All right, on to 5th and 6th grade athletics conversation.
So we have Derek Rainey here tonight to discuss 5th and 6th grade athletics and kind of our hope for the future of the program.
Do I need to go anywhere else, or is here good?
You need a microphone. Just because of the people online, or else they can't hear. Not because of us. Or your coaching boys.
Coaching voice. Okay, thank you. There's been conversations over the past year and a half about transitioning 5th and 6th grade sports back to the local rec departments. I've been asked to kind of come up and present my philosophy on this, and I'd like to share that with you. And I hope you'll respect it. I don't expect everybody to agree with it, but I think I've had experience with this, not as an athletic director, but as a parent, and I think I have a good idea of where this can go. So for me, I supported transitioning 5th and 6th grade athletics to the rec departments when both the towns of Castleton and Fairhaven hired full-time recreation directors, which was approximately 2 years ago. We, meaning Brooke and I, met in the fall with Fairhaven Rec and Castleton Rec representatives to discuss a plan to transition 5-6 sports to the town's rec departments. We developed an idea for a 2-year process with the winter basketball season going first, which would be next school year, 2026-27, followed the next school year by fall soccer, which is 2027-28. To be clear, this would be transitioning the 5-6 programs to the recreation departments over the next 2 years. This is not cutting and running away from them. I was then, and I still am, a member of the Fairhaven Recreation Commission. I supported this idea before returning to the position of athletic director at Fairhaven or in Slate Valley. I was adamant then, and I still am today, that this transition can only happen if the rec departments are ready to take the 5-6 sports, not just getting dropped on, okay? They have to be ready to take it. I'm adamant about that, and I have been since the beginning. The budget was has never been my rationale for transitioning the programs. Involving and creating more opportunities for kids in this age group has been my reasoning. Money became part of the conversation with failed budget votes. Currently, what we're doing in 5-6 sports, the roster sizes are too big for single team game schedules. It is an unintended consequence of merging the school's programs together. Recent roster sizes for 5-6 soccer, where we can put 11 on the field. In 2024, the girls had 27 kids. In 2025, they had 22. The boys in 2024 had 18 boys, and the boys in 2025 had 28 boys. To basketball, I think I'm missing a line. I'm sorry, down here. 24-25, the Castleton Orwell girls basketball team had 15 players. We get to put 5 on the court at a time. This past year, they had 16. The Fairhaven girls in 24-25 had 19. 25-26, they had 12. The Fairhaven Benson boys, 24-25, had 15 boys. This past year, it was Fairhaven, Benson, and Castleton combined, where they had 16. The previous year, when it was Castleton and Orwell, they had 15. This past winter, Orwell's community decided to stay home and use their rec department to organize their basketball schedule. And I don't know the exact numbers. I think they had somewhere between 10 and 12 kids participating. And from what I'm told, it went well for them. So I do believe in time. Families will find the flexibility with schedules of the various events when organized through rec to be convenient for them. Some of the flexibility benefits I believe we get if we were to transition this over the next couple of years would be improved roster sizes, improved practice times, improved game schedules, improved gameplay, which is a big piece for me. And obviously we have a transportation piece that would come into play as well. I believe our roster sizes going forward should be approximately 1/2 of what they are right now. We're twice as big as we should be for those teams. I think in soccer, they should be playing 9 versus 9 instead of 11 versus 11. And I believe basketball teams should be made up of 8 to 10 kids, 10 at the most, rather than up almost close to 20 in some of those spots. Practice times can be more flexible to work for families and coaches. Game schedules can be set with more flexibility for families to get there on their own terms. Gameplay can be more flexible to accommodate all the kids at their experience and ability level, with more focus on play over win. Adults behave better. School oversight creates less flexibility with length of games and what officials can or cannot do. All the parties involved in this are going to need to work together to get it off the ground. I'd hope we would include kids from all the towns and all of our kids from all the towns in the district. Rec departments will need access to our school facilities, as well as equipment and uniforms for startup. Soccer goals are now where they're going to stay. We've got them at CVS or out at Dewey Field, behind the old village school. We've got them up at Castleton Elementary School, and we have them down behind Fairhaven Grade School. We're not moving those. Slate Valley will be able to help with soccer balls and uniforms for both soccer and basketball for both genders to get things started. The expense is minimal when you consider the length of a season, probably less than $10 a week. And just for the record, people spent $15 just Saturday to go watch their kid play 2 AAU basketball games. and they can get a whole season of basketball for $10 a week. Or less. And again, I mentioned this earlier. Orwell Rec went out on its own this winter with their boys' side of 5th and 6th grade sports. And I've heard from a few that it was successful for them. And the reality is, Fairhaven and Castleton Recs, if they chose to, could start up their own 5th and 6th grade programs anyway, even if we still, regardless of whatever we decide to do. I don't know that they would. I'm not saying they would, but they do have the ability to do that if they desired. Those are a lot of the positives, I think. If we were to make this transition and the towns were on board, we need the support of both Fairhaven and Castleton. Fairhaven seems to be pretty much on board. Castleton has not formalized any decision yet. They are having those conversations though. What are couple of the cons if this were to happen? It's a change for people. People have come to expect that the schools run this, and it is a change. I understand it. Minimal additional expense. I really do consider it a minimal additional expense when you break into it, and what some people are paying for AAU or travel softball or travel soccer or whatever it might be. So I'm going to go back to my biggest concern. I think we can do better by our kids by doing things through rec because you have more flexibility. Roster sizes being smaller, less focus on win, more focus on play, more. Everybody gets, I shouldn't say everybody, people get caught up in the clock at a basketball game, right? They get caught up in the score, they get caught up in the clock, and it doesn't always go as well as you hope, and not everybody plays as much as you hope, and people show up to watch their kid play, and maybe they play 2 minutes, maybe they play 3, maybe they play less. Where if you do it in a more casual environment where you can generate your own rules, set them before you get started, and I'm telling you, this is what I did. And not to throw Brooke under the bus on this, but when I was in the Granville district, this is how I did it. And I ran the youth basketball program for a number of years down there, and we would just get a gym for an hour and a half, and we would go in and we would play whatever we wanted to play, and we didn't worry about the score. If it got out of hand, we wiped it clean and we started over. But for an hour and a half, we ran the tires off those little buggers. So they had a good experience and they were tired, and we didn't get caught up in the winning part. That's hard for some adults to change. I understand that. But for 5th and 6th grade, there's going to be a time when you play the games to win. I get it. And at 5th and 6th, it's not all bad to do that. Okay, but it doesn't need to be that way all the time. And we're kind of restricted with some of the things we can do over here. When it comes to the basketball piece, we're playing 4 6-minute quarters. And when you've got teams with 14, 15, 16 kids, that's hard. We've gone to rotations, player rotations, where we've taken a smaller group of kids, which is great. But when you do that, now kids are getting less games. Okay, so if I schedule 16 games for a 16-player team, and we take 12 to each game, one group sits out. They're not getting 16 games. They're getting 12. But that's the general picture of it all. So I think we can do. I don't know as a school if we can do it better. We're restricted by some of the things that we can do, whether it's with liabilities or transportation or whatever it might be. And I've seen it work. I think change will be a little bit difficult until we get it in place. We just need everybody on board to make this transition over the course of time. And I think it can be good. I really do. So.
Eric, can you just clarify for the board, 5-6 running sports like cross-country, track would stay at the school?
Yeah, thank you. There's an element to 5-6 sports that is linked into middle school track. So, and cross-country. So in the fall, we have 5th and 6th graders who can compete in the middle school track meets with 7th and 8th graders. And they have state competitions. We don't have state competitions for our 5th and 6th grade soccer or state competitions for our 5th and 6th grade basketball. And it's also the same in the spring with track. So the 5th and 6th graders can participate with the 7th and 8th graders for track, and they can go to the meets, and they're able to compete in the end of the year event as well.
And softball, baseball has not been with school ever.
Not 5th and 6th grade.
Right, that's always been rec, right?
Little league and rec.
Little league and rec.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So,
What is it going to cost a parent to sign their kid up to play basketball for the season at the rec department?
If it goes to the rec, I don't know that number, Sue, because I'm not going to set that. I'm going to just throw $100 out.
Okay, because I know Rutland Rec, I have a grandchild who plays at Rutland Rec, and he attends Rutland Christian School. It's $185 for him to play. And he's a 5th grader this year, next year, 6th grade, for him to play Rutland Rec basketball.
185 for Rutland Rec.
185.
Yeah, I don't see it being that much, but I'm not going to speak for that when they said it.
I'm just wondering, we're in a poverty,
Yeah, I know.
like how many kids are not going to be able to take advantage of the sports?
Well,
The
I think
other piece I want to say is that I have a granddaughter who's 7th grade this year at Fairhaven. She was Castleton. And this year on her basketball team, they split their team into 3 teams,
3 rotations, right?
3 rotations.
Yep.
So there was a lot of less playing,
Mhm.
although they would go and support their team each time. We made sure she was there to do that. But there was a lot less playing time, and she was actually very discouraged. She's a very, very good athletic kid, but she said, I don't know if I want to do this next year.
Yeah, it was a hard number to work with.
It's
There's
a hard
18 or 19 kids on that team,
So-
right? We're not going to make cuts at the middle school level,
Right.
right? So, and when we merged everybody together, again, the unintended consequences, we lost opponents because now Fairhaven doesn't play Castleton, and
Right.
Castleton doesn't play Benson and Orwell.
Right.
So we've lost games. So I can generally get a home game and an away game with the people we've always played, but I'm not going to get my 2 games with the
Right.
people that we are now merged with. So we've lost that. And at times I can pick up an extra game here or there with people, but that's at the middle school too, right? Not the 5th and 6th is a little bit similar, except I think with rec, you get more flexibility to juggle how you set up your play days. I really do.
So we have online the rec director from Fairhaven.
And Castleton might be on there too. He was going to, Micah was going to jump on too.
Oh, Malachi is too. Is it Malachi?
Micah.
Micah, okay.
But Erica
So go
has-
ahead, Erica.
Nope. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
So I just wanted to make like a little note on the question about the affordability of it. So speaking for my program here in Fairhaven, our cost was $65 for a resident and it was $75 for a non-resident. We try to keep it low. However, in that cost, we had to raise it a little bit compared to previous years, just because we don't have a facility. And the prior year, we did pay to use Castleton Recreation's gym. This year, thankfully, our school district was so accommodating with getting to use different buildings for our practices and our games that we didn't have to pay a facility fee anywhere. So we could actually probably lower that cost back down. And I know Fairhaven, the Eureka Lodge and the Sons of American Legion, they are absolute resources. They will step up and say, hey, do you need anything? Do you have families who are struggling to pay for registration fees? And we also have other parents that are willing to make donations. We have our concession stand that helps generate a revenue that helps support those families as well. So they just have to reach out and say, hey, we need a little boost. We need help. Not a problem. We want to make sure that every kid has an opportunity to play. I know Rutland tends to be pretty expensive. Thankfully, here we are able to keep the cost pretty low. And when it comes to 5-6 sports, my budget for this next fiscal year actually reflects taking on 5-6 sports. So it's already built within my budget for uniform, supplies, officials, everything. So if that helps answer any affordability questions, I hope it helps.
Thank you, Erica.
Absolutely.
So the only thing I was going to jump in with on just some simple math was if the basketball season's 10 weeks and if either town charged $100, that's $10 a week to play basketball, which is pretty affordable, right, over the course of time. And the reality is the basketball seasons are probably a little longer than they should be, but they're closer to 12 or 14 weeks. So they get a pretty good bang for their buck if it was at 100. And I don't, like Erica just said, they're not even at 100. So.
Any other questions? No hands up or anything? Yeah, we have to think about that. So we need to make a motion on to like talk about?
Yeah, how do you want to?
Right. Do we want to talk about it in finance first? Do we want to then bring it to the board? Do we? right? Does anybody feel like they need time to make, I mean, we're not gonna make a decision today, but do we feel like we need more information, more time type thing to think about this?
I think you need a commitment from Castleton. I haven't heard yet that there's a commitment from Castleton, so.
Okay.
I agree with that. I think we need to hear from Castleton concrete. That was one of my other things was how ready are the rec programs? It sounds like Fairhaven is, and we don't know about Castleton.
Well, they
So
used to
in
run
order-
it.
Right, but for us to make a decision, I think we need to know where they are on board.
Yeah, I think the select board and Castleton needs to come to a decision. I don't know, like this, got anything to say on that, I don't know. That's one of their concerns is it another extra, fee to
Right.
pay during the course of the year? So.
Right.
um,
So you don't have to say anything, Micah, but I know you're listening, so that's definitely something to bring back to the select board. And if you'd like, any more communication with the school or any more school information, you just need to reach out and ask for that, and we're happy to provide it. So, okay. So why don't we give Castleton at least a month to have a select board meeting and kind of do their due diligence on their part. And so if we were gonna put it back on anything, it would be May, or like we have 2 meetings in May, right? May what and May what?
May 4th and May 18th.
Probably May 18th would be the one that I'd like it on, to give it a little bit
I
of
think it
time.
makes sense though to go to finance first with all the information and actually have something to, bring back.
No, because I mean, the recommendation's yes or no, not,
It's not a financial piece.
Well,
yeah, it's really not a financial piece for us. I mean, it's what, $32,000 was what it was listed
Yes.
this year, if it was removed from the budget, and that's like,
but if you don't,
That was just basketball, though. That didn't include soccer.
I don't know.
Correct, yeah.
That was just basketball.
I mean, I don't
That was
necessarily
just
need the meeting,
basketball.
but what I'd like is something that's, prepared, like, this is
Like,
what
what do
it
you mean?
costs.
So you want to
Like a
know what
piece
it
of-
costs
like-
us?
Yeah, like a little
Bring the
spreadsheet that
findings.
just
So like,
says,
what would we be reducing our budget by?
Right, so that if we go back, like we did this year, we had a
Right.
conversation about 5th and 6th grade athletics as we have, many years. So just to be really
So
specific
finance
about it.
meetings are first or second one?
First.
First, that'd be May 4th? May 4th, right. But I think we should move it to then June. The
All right,
first one
so
in June. So that's at a finance meeting first. But I think May 4th is too close
Yeah, that's,
to do that.
I mean, we're looking at the next, years.
Yeah.
Well, we would be looking for basketball for this coming winter. so.
Right, but I mean, I've
Right.
plenty of months.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
what I'm saying.
Oh, I think we need to make that clear. So we'd be looking to make a decision
That would-
based on our information that would impact this coming fall's, or this coming winter's basketball.
Right, soccer would be the
Soccer
same.
would be the same.
Following.
Soccer would be in the fall, right?
Did Fairhaven just say they were ready to take it all?
Yes,
Yes.
but we just need to pass.
Oh, the following fall. Soccer
Not this
would
fall,
be
the
27.
following fall.
Yes, soccer's the following fall.
This winter would just be basketball.
Correct.
Okay.
June 8th is
All right,
the
June
finance meeting.
June 8th.
Yep. Okay. All right. Any other questions or thoughts? Anybody online?
Linda.
Oh, go ahead.
I just think that we want to try to answer as many questions as we can before we make any decisions, because we want to give the public enough time that we can explain things to them before we
Yep.
make a decision, because
Yep.
we want to be as transparent as possible on this.
So I would say Lisa, when she puts on her weekly newsletter, start asking about fifth, sixth sports. Like what other ways
Well, I
can we
think we need to
gather?
give like the context,
Right.
in that
Right.
newsletter, and certainly,
Okay.
I can work with Eric on that.
Okay,
I mean, because I think a lot of the things that Eric pointed out really, in my mind, makes it seem where it would be a lot more desirable to be a rec program, where kids are going to see increased playing time. They're going to take a lot of those things out. You're not going to be bound by all of the VPA rules.
Right.
So,
But I agree with you. I think the parents in the community need to be aware of that.
go ahead. Ian.
Well, don't worry about costs. Couldn't the school like donate a certain amount to the costs?
Well, Eric was talking about equipment and uniforms and
Yeah,
things that we already have,
Yeah.
right? That would be donated, which would help reduce cost.
The only thing we really can't donate is basketballs, because a lot of the basketballs are part of the phys ed programs.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
We've got soccer balls, we got a lot of soccer balls. And we have plenty of uniforms at that size appropriate that you can transition down to get people started. Because they're not going to be abused costs, right? So,
Yeah.
If that happens.
I was just,
They're great shapes.
I was just thinking if somebody, if we were worried about the $50 cost or 75 or whatever it is, we could maybe have it's not a lot of money.
Right.
To donate that in so the parents aren't coming up. I know $50 or $100 isn't a lot, but to some people it is, that was all I was thinking.
Yeah, Eric was saying they had good support in Fairhaven from some local.
From the Legion and
Legion and
everything. So,
organizations that help. And
yeah.
I can see Castleton would have the same with the Lions Club and their Legion as well.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's just asking and.
You've gotta
Yeah,
ask.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Janice?
I was just gonna say, could we maybe, we're not doing another executive committee, like open
No.
forum, are we? Or
No.
could you put it on one of
Probably-
your advisory,
Oh, we could,
Oh,
yeah,
or no?
we have not, the last couple we have one tomorrow night, but right now I only have 2 people that have RSVP'd to it, so I don't know if that's, I
yeah.
mean, we can talk about it, but I don't know if you're gonna get the feedback I
Yeah.
think you really want. So,
Yeah.
we can talk about
How to do that.
how to do that. I can talk with the principals and Eric and see how we can get some feedback in regards to this. But I want to make sure that the community understands what we're proposing.
Right.
We're not proposing to get rid of it because that's been kind of the narrative that's out there. That's not what we're proposing. We're proposing a transition.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a plan? All right. Thank you, Eric. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric.
Well, and I have prepared a wonderful duet.
Thank you, Erica and Micah.
Yes, thank you, guys. Please let us know if you have any questions or need any more information. All right, letters of interest, Hubbardton board seats. So we have 2 fine citizens here who have put in letters of, or requested to be a part of the school board. And so I would like them to introduce themselves and then say a little bit about themselves. And then we need to make a decision tonight as to who we invite on the board. All right?
And you would have to run.
Yeah. I don't know if that's right. No, 2 people, yeah, right.
For just Benson.
For just Hubbardton. Yes.
And we only have 1 seat open?
Yes. Yes.
Do you need me to,
Is it on, Walter?
is it on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really for only the people online, not like us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really hear myself.
Yeah.
Am I okay to just sit here?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, awesome. Hi. My name is Sally Denbeaux. I am a resident of Hubbardton. I moved to Hubbardton about 3 years ago from Rutland, but previously from New Jersey. I've been an educator, a teacher of Spanish for over 20 years. I'm currently teaching in the Mountain View Supervisory Union. And my interest in asking to be part of the board is, it just matters a lot to me to contribute to my community. I saw the board seat was open. I'm an educator. I'm very interested in the well-being of our schools, our students, the teachers and faculty, and I'm just interested in being involved. And this was one way I felt I could contribute. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't have any kids in school. I have 3 grown sons, but that was in New Jersey. Thank you.
I'm Stephen Cijka. My wife and I run High Pond Goat Farm, a very small goat farm of about 19 goats. And it's a break-even operation. We're both retired. I was a wastewater operator here in Vermont for 38 years, and she was a physical therapist in home health for a long, long time. And so I just think of the taxpayers constantly saying that 32.5 million is too much. And I also think of the fact that the only way you cannot raise taxes on the people is to have more money coming in. And I see that the state over the years has done lottery and done other things that we wouldn't necessarily think of way back that would be allowed. And I'm just thinking maybe my input would help. My kids did not go to this school system, even though I'm in Hubbardton, because we're 1.958 miles from Monument Hill Road on High Pond Road. So if you've ever been in High Pond Road in the wintertime, and the bus driver said, we will not go down that way. If you want us to pick up your kids, we have to go through Burr Pond Road. And it would make for an extra long trip. So the board back then granted both my son and my daughter tuition to Neshobe School and then to Otter Valley. So that's my story.
Thank you very much. Does anybody on the board have any questions? For anybody? I know this isn't, it feels a little awkward, like, yay, we got 2 people. We never have anybody for any positions. You know, we got 2. So anyways, anybody have any questions? All right. And online, any questions? Okay. Because the chat is disabled, right? Yes. Can they send us an email? That's probably the best. Because we have 4 board members online.
So you only have 3 now.
Oh, 3 now? Oh, Rachel jumped off?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 3 board members online. So online board members, do you guys have any questions? Do you feel like you have enough information to send us an email? Okay. So send Brooke an email, just to Brooke, please, with the either name.
You guys names again. maybe.
The agendas, it's on the agenda.
Okay.
Yep, the names are on the agenda, so you can see them there. If you guys would do that, would be great. And then everybody else, we have sticky notes that you can vote. I know, highfalutin vote going on here.
I need the name again.
Oh, you have an agenda?
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Do you have an agenda?
It's right here.
Oh, I can share it.
Okay, well, we have paper agendas.
It's just 2 names.
So we need one more.
Like right in the
sticky
middle.
See?
Oh, yeah. Did you get a sticky?
I didn't get a sticky. You gave me
Yeah, 2 vacant for West Haven. Yeah, I'm just saying, too bad one can't take the West Haven seat. but-
Everybody got a sticky? All right. I feel like I need music. I don't know, should I hum?
Jeopardy? I don't know.
What? I know, that's what I was gonna hum.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's
Sally
that too.
Denbeaux and Stephen Cijka.
Can't one of you move to West Haven?
We said, can't one of you move to what? We have 2 more openings in West Haven. So, or Orwell.
Sally can't move, she's my neighbor.
Oh,
And that house was vacant for a long time.
was that?
There you go.
Oh, was I supposed to do this over?
Just fold it.
Thank you, ladies.
The maps from Hubbardton too, right?
Yeah.
So, they might be.
Did you get my vote, Brooke?
Yes, I got yours and Jamie's. Oh, here's Aaron. I got Aaron's too.
Most decisive thing I've ever seen.
Thank you, online folks.
Quick and decisive.
I just want to say thank you to both of you for stepping up and wanting to do this.
Yes, I agree. Thank you very much.
It's a good description of agriculture breaking into operation.
All right, so thank you for your patience. So we'd like to welcome Sally to the board. Yay! And so Sally, Brooke will be in touch and tell you kind of next steps and how that happens. And then so much fun, you get to run next year. So you're appointed for 1 year, and then the next election, you have to actually run for the remaining years of the seat. Is how it works.
Which also
All right?
opens up for Stevens as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, but yeah, which opens up for everybody, right? Like somebody
Anybody.
has to run next year.
Anybody
Yeah,
else?
yeah. So thank you both very much. I heard people saying thank you. Thank you for being willing to step up. It's not easy to do, and it's a commitment, and we appreciate it. So thank you very much. All right, committee reports, finance.
So the Finance Committee met at 6 o'clock tonight. We were very happy that the budget had passed, has been previously noted. We discussed the results of the yearly audit. Cheryl had presented, and still, I believe, has 2 very thick, like 200-page copies. If anybody's feeling bored and wants to do some real heavyweight reading, she will provide you with one.
You know, you can have it in your office in case somebody from the constituency comes in and has a specific question.
Any takers? Because Cheryl
Or
will
you
not
can-
be carrying them home.
Yeah. You can put it in the reading rack next to the toilet, or
Yep.
whatever.
Would even fit.
We say that.
So as yet again, the team in central office did a great job. The auditors gave us basically an unqualified decision, which is the highest that they award. There was nothing that the auditors found out of place. They were very happy with the help and everything that was presented to them. So again, kudos to the finance team. They get the job done every year. So thank you for that.
And everybody else.
Yeah.
The whole central office and the district, as I said, it's everybody doing what they need so that we are compliant to preparing our financial statements. So it's much appreciated, everybody's work.
You know, we just briefly touched on the fact that before we know it, we're going to be starting to formulate another budget. So that will be coming. And then the one good news is a result of a question in our last contract for transportation. Luckily, the fuel surcharge clause was removed. So with diesel fuel as high as it has gone in the last few weeks, we presently are not seeing an extra charge. So that helps us immensely. We're on the tail end of what we had, our fuel contract for heating. Tanks have been topped off. Will probably be topped off again at the low price that we're contracted to a certain date for.
On a Monday when it's 5 cents off.
Or whatever, but
Cash only.
luckily our fuel bid for this past winter came in under what we had thought it was going to be, and we're reaping those benefits right now. So other than that, everything is on a positive note, and we're glad that the budget passed.
Yep.
So.
And with the audit, we talked about, we had some concerns brought to us at the executive committee meeting about the audit and whether it was true. And one thing we talked about, and Cheryl clarified nicely, was that we're not we're not a for-profit business. Like our budgeting process and where we fall in auditing is unique. And that, community members come to us with what they know, and they mostly know corporations and big business, and they don't know the specificity of being a school district. So just continuing again to learn and understand as we talk to our constituents about like why things are the way they are in the school district, and keeping that kind of message out there as we move into the next budget season. So,
yeah.
Yep. All right, so we need action, right?
So I would make a motion that we accept the audit that was presented. Second.
Any questions? They can be answered right there. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, awesome. And now we're back to public comment. All right. Agenda building. Oh, April 27th, we want to talk about that.
Right. Wondering if we need to have the meeting on April 27th because of the way April break falls and Memorial Day. You have two board meetings back to back, April 27th and May 4th. And certainly you would need April 27th if we hadn't passed a budget, but I'm thinking you'd probably go ahead and cancel that one and just keep May 4th.
But there's some rules to the May 4th meeting. Y'all gotta bring your lightsabers, all your good stuff.
Oh.
Come on. What? All
I
right,
didn't
I'm
catch
so
on for a
you guys are
second,
so
Julie.
Come on, come on. May the 4th be with you.
Will we still have our committee meetings?
It's up to you. I will not be here on the 27th, so it's up to you. I'm going to talk to Peter about building and grounds, but if you want to have policy, I can see if Casey or Chris or Cheryl can do that.
I mean, if we don't need to have one.
I mean,
we can talk
it's not
about it.
emergent. you know,
Right.
There's nothing.
We're just starting our review, so right.
You
Yeah.
can start it in May, so it's totally up to you.
Okay.
So any questions, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I make a motion to cancel the April 27th meeting.
I'll second it.
All right, so we got a first and a second. Any other questions? Everybody good? Anybody online? You guys all good? All right, all those in favor of canceling the April 27th meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so our next meeting is May 4th. All right, awesome. All right, so agenda building for May 4th.
Can we put on there, use of email?
Yep. Yep, Becca wants to talk about like kind of how we communicate with email as a board.
Especially since we have so many newer members?
Yep, good idea. By board members. Yeah. Yep. Anything else that you know that needs to be on there for May?
Well, are we going to talk about any possible reorganization plan?
So we were gonna do that at finance on May 4th, right? So yes, we would bring it to the board after. Well, at least then we had the discussion. We started talking about it.
And we are gonna, well, no, that's probably not till the 18th. I don't know.
Graduation stuff? That'll be the 18th too.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk about, principals, end of the year goals, those types of things, but that wouldn't be probably the 18th in June. Okay. Meeting, so.
You can do the golden diploma for the 50-year graduating. No.
No.
Any updates from the state?
Yeah,
I
we
mean-
could certainly do probably a legislative update. I'm sure,
Interesting.
I'm sure, it won't be
It
final.
won't be, no.
But we can certainly do that. And I think in light of possibly talking about reorganization of schools, might be a good time to also talk about what's going on with district reorganization.
Thank you.
What we know at the time.
Right. Okay. All right, anything else?
Were we supposed to talk about senior class trip today? Is that on the agenda?
It was on the consent agenda. so,
Okay.
yeah.
So the consent agenda, 'cause I know, basically the consent agenda is basically everybody reads it beforehand, and when we ask for a motion, make a motion, we second, and then if you want something taken out of the consent agenda, because you want to talk about it outside of just approving it, then we can do that and talk about it right after. But
Okay.
the consent agenda, everything on there just gets approved as like in a chunk.
Oh, okay, I'm glad I asked. Yeah, no.
So, yeah, yep. All right, any other, all right, motion to adjourn?
No move.
Second. All right, Peter and Patty. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Okay, so
Aye.
yes, use that,
Opposed?
like
All right,
$3
thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
Stephen and
you,
Sally.
I don't know what you're
Bye,
paying, but
guys.
it's,